all the stuff I do, when I teach studies, when I write stuff, all of it. It's all about trying to help people reach that point. And I want to tell you how to do that if you're not already there. So here's what it is. There's a verse that says, draw near to God and he will draw near to you. As a concept, that sounds great, right? All I got to do is approach God. He's going to approach me. It sounds like, if you take that sort of to its logical conclusion, it sounds like what that means is if I'm not drawing near to God, then he's walking away. And I think there's an element of truth to that, but it's not coming from where you think it's coming from. What I've learned, what God's shown me, is that all he needs, all he wants, is a willing heart. That's it. When I went to him that day, when I had reached the end of my rope, I was resigned and angry and desperate and despairing. I was challenging him. I was blaming him. Like, nothing that I was saying was positive. It was all bad. But I was willing. Like, I had reached such a bad place that I went, if you've got an answer, I don't care if you're a tyrant. I don't care if you're a jerk. If you have an answer that makes this better, I will take it. Like, that's where I was at. What I discovered, of course, was the opposite, that he didn't look at that and go, you're a bad, disrespectful kid. Shame on you, which is what I thought he was going to do. Instead, he embraced me and he wanted to comfort me. And he was so glad. He was so, so glad that I came to him and that I was being honest and that I wasn't putting these things between us anymore. Because that's all he'd ever wanted. All he'd ever wanted with me was a relationship based on the truth. And he was patient. He knew that I didn't get it. I didn't understand his word. I didn't understand him. I mean, I just sat there and for, however long, I just unloaded all of these lies that I thought were true. All these things about who he was and what he did or didn't do. And I really believed it. I was deceived, but I believed it. It wasn't because I was looking at it and going, that's a lie, but I'm going to believe it anyway. Like, I really believed it. And that was all he wanted, was for me to come to him truthfully. Because there's an openness in that. Even the world recognizes that authenticity is valuable. Even people who don't believe in God, they're drawn to people who speak out of what's true. It appeals to us. And that's because we're made in God's image, and he's all about truth. That's the core of everything. If we don't know the truth, everything else is wrong. You have to start. That has to be the foundation. And that was all he wanted from me. He just wanted me to be honest. And so when I came to him that way, it was a relief. It was a relief for me because I wasn't lying anymore, and I wasn't trying to pretend, and I wasn't trying. That's the reality. I didn't have any energy left to try. I was just giving up. And for him, it took away the barriers between us, where I kept trying to hold him back or push him away because of the lies that I believed. Well, I have to be like this, or I have to do this, or I have to say this. because he won't respond to me unless I do, or he won't bless me unless I do. So I better put it out there. That was all in me. That was all in my head. That was all deception that I believed. And it put this wall between us. And I tore that wall down that day by just giving it all up. I think it's First Peter. I'll find the references for you, but it says, cast all your cares on the Lord, for he cares for you. And I think that that's what that verse means. It means don't pretend. Like, whatever you feel is true, whatever you think is true, like, give that to him. Because you can't learn the truth if you're not asking the question. We can't learn the truth about God and who he is if we think we've got it figured out. We can't learn the truth about him and who he is if we're not listening because we're afraid. All of those things that we hold up that keep us distant from God, they're all coming from us. Well, okay, so we've got this whole enemy, right? Satan, and he has a role in this. So I'm not going to get into that today. But what I mean is, regardless of where the lie starts, we believe it. And the responsibility for that is on us. But God can break that down. But he won't come where he's not invited. He will not force me to love him. He will not turn me into a robot. He will not be a puppeteer. If I'm going to have a relationship with him, he wants the relationship that he values is an honest one. It's not compelled. It's invited. I mean, you think about it. Anytime parents try to shove their kids together, or maybe like if you're single and somebody has tried to, like, you would get along so great with such and such, and they try to basically force you into a relationship with someone, it doesn't work. Relationships only work when you're open to them, when you want them, and you're inviting this person into your life. It's even more true with God, because he only functions in a position of truth. And if we're believing lies about him and we're not letting him tell us that, then we're just constantly functioning on the basis of a lie all the time. And that's why it doesn't work. And that's why we feel distant from him. And that's why we are dissatisfied. And then we blame him. So I'll use my own experience. I believed a lot of lies about who God was and how he functioned, why he did things that he did. Because of that, I was angry with him and deceived about the whole everything, life, pain, the whole thing. So I'm not open at that point. I think I have to be resistant to this person who's having this huge effect on my life, and my power is nothing compared to theirs. So, I'm just getting hurt. I'm just getting hurt time and time and time again. So I shut off. And, regardless of what I say with my mouth, or if I go to church or not, or whatever, I'm shut down inside. I'm not open. As soon as I tore that wall down and went to God and said, if you have answers, I want them, because I'm done. I'm done with the way this life is now. As soon as I did that, he came in. And the first thing he did was comfort me. It was the first thing. He understood that I needed to feel better before I could think clearly. And so he gave me what I needed, which was to feel safe in that relationship. I mean, you think about it, even the people that we love the most, and even the people who love us the most, they're still broken. They're still sinful. We hurt each other all the time. We can trust someone, but we're never completely safe, because even if we know, they could screw up, they could do it wrong or whatever, but they'll try to make it better. Even if we trust their intention, they're still going to hurt us. So we're never truly safe in a relationship. And what I learned that day is that God makes me safe. And that being safe was the deepest desire of my heart. I needed that more than I needed anything else. Salvation is the first safety that we need. We need to know we aren't going to eternal death. But that's not enough by itself. And God knows that. He knows that we need safety here. We need safety in this relationship. We need safety in this painful, corrupted world. Like, we need it all the time, every day, everywhere. And he's offering that. But we can't see it because we think that it's about being right or doing right or having to function in some way that validates us in God's eyes. It's not. He just wants us open. He just wants us honest. So I'm taking a really long time to get to the point. And the point is,